It was probably about 6 months ago that we were ready to put our ceilings in. We painted the planks for our ceiling, we started cutting out our walls. How do you like my thong? Chose our paint color.
2, 3, top!
Yes! Stone-washed one. And if you've been watching, you'll know we took quite a detour.
So the detour from finishing the inside of our bus started when we decided to pull most of the windows out, reskin the bus with steel, cut holes in the steel and put new windows in. And I also had a kidney stone, which put me out of commission for about a month, which means we're finally back to the point that we started 5 months ago of putting ceiling in to our bus. Today was a test to see how we might put the ceiling planks in. Gloves, glasses, let's do it.
It doesn't look terrible, but in some places it does ever so slightly kind of bow.
And one of the biggest reasons is because it is wainscoting. It's tongue and groove wainscoting. It's not an actual tongue and groove plank. So all that is to say that we're going to try this other method. And we got to, of course, run to the hardware store, a lumber yard. New method test for the ceiling. Let's see if this Luan works. You don't even need to screw it in. It just stays up. The goal was to learn how to put Luan on our ceilings as our first ceiling layer.
It didn't quite fit in the corner. We took 2 inches off, so basically 1 inch off each side, so we could bend into the ceiling.
Because Mella had marked out where our lighting was on the furring strips, we were able to make marks there, take some measurements, and use the saw hole saw.
I'm going to create a whole new language here. And we're going to have to go and stock up on those 6-inch saw holes. Get some more of those hole saws? Saw holes? Hole saws?
Now we used a larger sized hole saw than what we will for our finished planks. The reason being is because then we have a little give one way or the other in our planks with that smaller hole for the light fixtures to fit in.
Then we put some Sikflex 221 onto our furring strips, and then we took our Luan and put it back up into place, pulled our wires through where the lights will go, and Don got to screwing it into the furring strips.
So now it's up there nice and snug. We just got 9 more ceiling panels to do.
One of the nice things about this Luan that we like is it's got these X marks on it, which help you know where your furring strips are underneath there once you've put it up in place. So now our ceiling planks aren't just going to be attaching to furring strips that are far apart from each other. You can put the ceiling plank and glue it all along this Luan board. Put plenty staples in to hold it there very, very securely, so now they won't warp or flop. The wire will reach there?
Yeah. that looking?
Looking good.
Okay.
Looking good.
Day one of getting the ceiling going properly. It's going pretty good. We only got out here for about, what, 3 hours?
Yeah. We only get to work in the afternoons, really, on the bus.
Right now.
On some days, and you lose light at about 5 p.m.
It's great to see it up there.
2021's gonna be a great year, baby.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Day two, back working on the ceiling. Went pretty smooth yesterday, so fingers crossed it goes well today.
We changed up the direction we were using the boards. Instead of having it go straight across the ceiling, we're putting two side by side. And the reason we did that is to make sure the ends hit our furring strip so that we don't have to cut too much off the boards and waste boards.
Only thing is, we're already down to 200 screws, so at some point we're gonna have to run and get more screws. We use 3/4 inch SPAX screws, and these are just wood screws. Those furring strips are so secure with super long metal to wood screws. You could hang off of them real easy, and we got them all over the beams now. Cutting the holes for our skylights, fans, escape hatches a little smaller, so that way when we get our ceiling planks up, we can actually use a router and then clean them so they're all cut nice and clean, exactly the right size. So for right now, they're a little messy, but it's better to have extra wood than less wood. To get our holes cut, we used our furring strips and beams to give us guide points, measured off those, gave ourselves a little diagram, and then we cut those. Look at that. We're more than halfway done. Now we're going to do the one that's might be a little tricky. We've got two skylights up here. The good news is that they're symmetrical, so we should be able to cut them at the same time.
Because it's a mirror image on either side, you can just cut once, and you cut your lights out and your skylights out, and then you're nice and even.
As long as we get the measurements right.
Yeah. But at least we're not cutting holes in the bus roof. It's much easier to make a mistake if it's in some wood.
So if our measuring is correct, since we did two of these at the same time, should have two of them ready to go.
This looks good. Reaching up to the ceiling is never fun on the neck,
Well, we're back.
But it's looking so good. Didn't quite manage to finish it today. We got 2 more boards to put in.
2 more boards for our first layer of ceiling, and we'll be done with this. So maybe tomorrow or the next day we can knock it out. So the first thing we're doing today is we're going to go ahead and cut down some more Ceratex just to put it over our wood studs. And the reason being is because all our Ceratex will be flush mounted in the same plane, so when we screw things in, it won't dip in.
Now it's all level and flush, so once we've put our walls in and we start to attach furniture to any studs, we don't want the wall to suck in. Now that the Ceratex is there, it'll all stay the same level.
And of course the Ceratex will be another thermal break, hopefully making us more and more comfortable. Once again, the lights for our ceiling are symmetrical for these 2 pieces. So we're able to stack 2 pieces of our Luan. We're able to stack 2 pieces of our Luan and cut out our hatch for our emergency exit as well as our lighting.
Luann's the girl you slept with in high school.
No. Oh, goodness.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.
You did it. One left.
What we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
And we did it! First layer of ceilings is done. It looks really great and we're super happy with it. Having put them up now, the only thing I think we would have done differently had we known, have a furring strip running along the bottom side of the ceiling.
Yeah, there's some places where the Luan is coming up a little bit. It's still attaching to a furring strip, but again, that furring strip isn't long ways the length of the bus. They just come down the width of the bus.
A lot of that, some of it will be hidden behind shelving for us, and we're gonna have some trim work along there, so I'm not sure how much it's gonna matter and how much it'll be seen.
The other thing is we've got our Luan up and some gaps here and there, but we're not worried about that because this is just the first layer of our ceiling. It's because we're using some wainscoting, very thin tongue and groove planks that we've painted already, and they're ready to just glue and staple up into the ceiling. They'll cover all of those gaps. The thing we like about having those long planks that we're going to put up is it'll give it an illusion of length with all of those just fine shadow lines, because they're all painted our white, which is stone ground white. Is that right?
Stone washed.
Stone washed white.
Stone washed white. And the other thing I don't think we've mentioned yet is now that we can attach our planks to the Luan and not just the furring strips, we can actually stagger them. Before, with the furring strips, we would have had to just keep them side by side to hit the furring strips, but now we can actually stagger them, which is going to look much better.
It's about 37, 38 degrees outside with our Luan and our insulation in. Ran a heater for about 4 hours today.
It's I almost want to start taking these off because I'm getting very hot in here now with but each layer we add, the better it starts feeling inside of here.
As you saw on this intra-ply Luan that we used, there were X's every 6 inches. Those were so useful, being able to use those as guidelines, mark up, especially since we did decide to put wiring into the ceiling. If you were going to not do wiring in the ceiling, You might be able to get away with just making a mark here and there for where your furring strips are, but because we did want lighting hanging out of our ceiling, it made a huge difference in finding where we needed to drill those holes with the hole saw. Saw hole.
Next up, we'll put the walls in, I think, and give our necks and shoulders a little break from reaching up before we attack the planks.
And that means we need to learn how to use a wood router. So, one more job you gotta figure out how to do to make this work. Today's a big learning day as well because I borrowed the old 1970s Craftsman router.
Look how nice that is! But we'll share that with you next time.
I didn't mean to slam it like that.
I have something important to say.